Hey guys, what's going on? This is your old pal CHH, and today we're going to be talking about Guillermo Del Toro's Frankenstein, which just premiered on Netflix. I know that this film somewhat came out in the theaters, but a lot of us, if you're watching this, odds are you don't have a theater near you that's going to play this movie. I mean, I live in a small town, and I think the closest I could have driven to seeing this movie was like well over an hour, so it just wasn't possible. Would have been nice to see this in the theater for sure, but, you know, that's not the case. So, let's get into it, guys. Now, this video may contain some spoilers, so just bear with me. But yeah, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. I've been looking forward to this one for a long time. We've been in some sort of a resurgence of the classic monsters coming back. It seemed to kind of happen at first with, you know, the Tom Cruise Mummy film and then The Invisible Man, albeit they were really trying to modernize characters, especially with The Invisible Man in that stretch. And while I like The Invisible Man, I can't say that I want to see a whole lot of movies do it the way that did it. And then, to be honest with you, Wolfman, that I think might have come out early this year, I didn't like it at all. That being said, Nosferatu I really enjoyed. And then Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein I thought was going to be a home run. Well, is it a home run? I think it really depends on what you're looking for. Now, the first thing I'll say is this. When it came to Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, I've heard him say countless times throughout the years, and then recently, during promotion for this movie, that he is anti-CGI, anti-AI, and that's fantastic. And you definitely know that by watching his films. But I have to ask you, the audience, if you also felt the same way about this. In the beginning of Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, we're out in the cold Arctic. There's this really great boat scene where Frankenstein comes out and starts beating the hell out of all these sailors. The way the movie's shot in the beginning, I can't help but get the sense that the whole thing looked like a video game at first. I think in some way it's the way the editing was done when he picks people up and throws them. There's this almost video game-like motion to all of it. Albeit that's probably all stuff done in camera, I guess. The feeling I got was digital. It looked fake at first. I was kind of nervous going into this film once I got in the opening scene, but thankfully, once we get past that and we get to Baron von Frankenstein's childhood, I really get to see where Guillermo shines. The world Guillermo del Toro created in this felt extremely authentic, and it felt like I was reading something straight out of a book. One of the biggest surprises that I was so happy to see was that Baron von Frankenstein's father was played by Charles Dance, who's an iconic actor. He's been in movies like Last Action Hero, he's been in other movies like The Golden Child, and most of you probably know him from Game of Thrones. But anytime I see Charles in a movie, he always exudes this dominance in his movie scenes. When he's in a scene, he is in charge, and Frankenstein is no exception. He's fantastic in this movie and really sets the tone for what Baron von Frankenstein's gonna be like as he gets older in the film. From this point on, the movie is smooth sailing. I've seen a lot of Frankenstein adaptations over the years. Of course, the '94 Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which has Bob De Niro in it playing the monster. I've even seen made-for-television ones with Randy Quaid in it from 1993, which is actually a pretty underrated Frankenstein film. Oscar Isaac is an absolutely fantastic Baron von Frankenstein. He's so good, and he carries me through this whole movie. The rest of the cast of this film is good, but I have to say, he did a great job. Now, I feel like I can't get away from him at a certain point. I think I see him in all the Star Wars films. He was even in Dune. But I will say this, the guy can act. So at least I'm seeing what I think is an extremely talented actor in a bunch of movies all at the same time. It's one thing to see somebody in movies a lot. It's another thing when you don't think they're that great. Mark Wahlberg. I have to say, I'm really glad that I watched this at the house, for a couple reasons. Number one, the length of Frankenstein is fairly long. It's about a Scorsese-length movie, clocking in well over 2 hours, but I feel like that's to be expected with a movie like Frankenstein from Guillermo del Toro. He's going to want to flesh everything out and not just speed through stuff. Now, the bonus for me is I never felt like this movie was much of a drag. There are scenes in here that I found really, really cool. My favorite scene has to be when Baron's in this big hall where he's about to show what he's been able to accomplish, being able to reanimate life back. It's a really cool scene, and this kind of half corpse that reminds me of something you would see from like a Return of the Living Dead looked absolutely fantastic. Moments like that is where I felt like this movie shined the most for horror fans. I gotta give it to Guillermo, wherever they film these scenes, they are really, really cool. They look like absolute timepiece sets. Whether they were all real or not, I don't know. I haven't looked into the making of this movie yet. I know that there is a making of on Netflix, which I intend to watch, but everything seemed completely authentic, and that was gorgeous. So this movie definitely has no cracks in it when you're watching it, feeling like, okay, this is a timepiece, but what's modernized in here that we're just trying to hide? Nothing. Everything seemed really great. I gotta say, it was also great seeing Mia Goth play Elizabeth in this film, and I also love the fact that Guillermo definitely puts a little bit of an homage to the Bride of Frankenstein in this film in a couple ways, especially in one of the outfits that Mia wears in this film. Obviously, there's really nothing to spoil. I'm sure most of you have seen at least a few adaptations of Frankenstein. But yeah, that was done very, very well. The cool thing about this movie, I'll say, is you can absolutely tell Guillermo is a die-hard monster movie fan. So Frankenstein is like his bread and butter. So there's nothing about this movie that I felt was necessarily off. But I do have some stylistic things that I can't say I was in love with. While I do feel that Guillermo was probably pretty realistic to the sense of the book and everything on his design of Frankenstein, there's something about it that just didn't feel right to me all the way. I kind of preferred the way the '94 film with De Niro had more of a really, really painful look. In this one, there was more of this kind of Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas feel, with the stitching all together looks more kind of stylistic rather than painful. People kind of say that they felt like the monster had more of this kind of Abercrombie and Fitch feel, or this kind of like model look. I didn't see it that way. It was very clear that Farron talked about wanting to have a very much bigger person because it would make the operation easier. I just felt like I wish he would have exuded more of a painful outlook. The way he talked and everything, I wish would have looked like it was more difficult for him. While things get going with the monster, he talks and moves as smooth as anything. I would have preferred to have a little bit more of maybe a zombie or robotic feel. But again, that's my style. That's something I would have preferred. But the actor who played the monster was really good. I do think it fits the movie that Guillermo made, but that's just my taste. Style-wise, I would have gone in a little bit of a different direction. The sense of what the monster was portrayed as. While I'm not a super fan of long movies, I don't really think there's much about this movie that I think would or should have been trimmed down that much. Like I said, I've seen other Frankenstein movies, and while I do like different things about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein from '94, in this one, I don't feel like it drags as much as the '94 film did. There's certainly moments in that film that I think really just make you take a big sigh of just like, okay, let's get on with it. Where in this one, with the world that Guillermo built and having a great cast in this one, I never felt like I was ready for it to be over. Overall, I think I really like this one. I'd give it a B+. I'd give it 4 stars. Style-wise is where I have some differences, but overall, Guillermo is a huge fan of this stuff, and it really shows to me. So I think I enjoy this one a lot. It's probably one of my favorite horror movies of the year. It's not perfect to me, but I get how for other people this could absolutely be perfect to them. Part of me wishes I could have seen it in the theater, but I can't deny it was really nice to pause and take a piss after an hour and 15 minutes. Drank like 2 Diet Dr. Peppers by then, so I needed to go. It was a cool way to end the year with a Frankenstein film from Guillermo, and when it comes to the Universal Monster kind of readaptations or whatever you want to call it, this one to me is certainly better than The Wolfman, and probably close but doesn't beat Nosferatu that just came out. But overall, I give it a solid thumb up. Check it out, guys. Frankenstein on Netflix. I'm really interested to see what you guys think, but I'm really interested to see if you guys agree with me that for some reason that opening scene, the whole thing just kind of looked and felt like a video game. I just didn't like that whatsoever. So besides the opening scene, I really enjoy it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.